Welcome to Escape to the Country. Today I'm surrounded by towering rocks some 400 million years in the making in an area the Victorians affectionately called Little Switzerland. I haven't left the country, obviously, but where am I? Stay tuned to find out. Today, I'm helping a corporate couple carve out a new career in the countryside.
You can imagine sitting in bed in the morning with a cup of tea looking out over that. It'd be fantastic.
And on the search for their dream property, will my buyers be ruled by their head or their heart?
It's absolutely charming, but my practical side will kick in a minute.
And when Claire's practical side kicks in, then we know we've got trouble.
Today, I'm in North Devon, on the Exmoor coast in the Valley of Rocks, which is a natural gorge between two ridges of hills. And the valley is shaped like a bowl, bordered by rock formations with names like Castle Rock, Ragged Rock, and the Devil's Cheese Ring. This dramatic geology and natural beauty inspired great 18th century romantic poets such as Wordsworth and Coleridge, and continues to attract visitors from all over the world. However, many now come here for a more physically exhilarating experience, which I'll be trying out later on in the show. Devon is the fourth largest county in England and the largest in the southwest. It's sandwiched between the Bristol Channel to the north and the English Channel to the south. Its dramatic and varied 300 miles of coastline draws in visitors year after year, along with vivid countryside made up of elegant meandering rivers, steep valleys, as well as 2 national parks and 5 areas of outstanding natural beauty. Today we're focusing on the North Devon district that accounts for just over a quarter of the county. North Devon is home to Exmoor National Park. Named after the River Exe, the county's main river, it has the longest stretch of naturally wooded coastline in the British Isles, the highest coastal cliffs in England, and the second highest tidal range in the world. For those more interested in water sports than walking, the 800-metre-long sandy stretch of beach at Croyd Bay is a surfer's paradise, facing west to the high waves of the Atlantic. The county also boasts an abundance of traditional architecture, including around 20,000 houses made partly or entirely from cob, many dating back to the 15th century. At the moment, the average price of a detached property here in Devon is creeping just over £300,000. That's around £30,000 more than the national average. But if you head inland, you do get more for your money. And if it's the quiet countryside you're after, then it's the north of the county that's probably your best bet, as it's home to less than 10% of Devon's population. And here are 2 more people hoping to make this part of the country their home. Today's house hunters, Nick and Claire, are from the town of Henley-on-Thames in Oxfordshire. They've been married for 4 years and met at work.
We met at a team meeting and we discovered that we had a shared love of cooking. So we decided to get together and cook a nice dinner, and it all started from there. My love of baking, I think, has stemmed from my love of eating cake. And unfortunately, Nick really enjoys eating sweet things too, so it's a very symbiotic relationship.
They've always harboured plans eventually to retire to the countryside, but both being made redundant recently has prompted them to act sooner.
It had been our plan to move to the West Country and start a holiday letting business. As we're both currently out of work, we thought, well, let's bring it forward.
It seems silly to go back into finding new jobs, so we thought we'd do our big move now.
Knowing the county well, they've decided Devon is the ideal destination for their home and business.
So I've had several family holidays as a child in Devon, so I do know the area a little bit.
And also, I grew up in Devon, and when we've been down together to have a look around, I think both Claire and I have really fallen for North Devon and the countryside.
To make their lettings business unique, they want to combine it with a personal passion of theirs, in the hope it appeals to like-minded holidaymakers.
We're both keen cyclists, so one of the things that we thought about is trying to attract cyclists So we would make sure we've got a small workshop where people can work on their bikes and pre-plan a few routes and provide route maps.
So with the business mapped out and a sale agreed on their house, they're all set. And like all successful partnerships, they know their roles.
I think my main role will be the handyman.
I think that my main role in the business will be to meet and greet the guests and to look after their needs and make sure they're settled into their new holiday homes.
Claire is the more outgoing of the pair of us, but lovely personality, just lovely girl.
Aww.
Nick and Claire have asked us to focus their search in the rural areas of North Devon. With the advantage of great beaches on the coast as well as the green spaces of Exmoor, it's popular with holidaymakers and could be a great area to start up a lettings business.
Welcome to Devon, Nick and Claire. Lovely to meet you both. So tell me, why this part of Devon?
Firstly, because it's beautiful. And I grew up in Devon and I just really love the county. And I've brought Claire down a few times and I think she's fallen in love with it too.
And I understand that time is of the essence. You've almost sold your home in Oxfordshire.
Yes, we're due to exchange in the next couple of days, so we are going to be homeless within a couple of weeks.
So we really better get on with it.
We really had.
And tell us what you'd like from a home here.
We'd like a character farmhouse, 3 or 4 bedrooms, really lovely kitchen, or the potential to create a lovely country kitchen, a couple of reception rooms.
I'm quite up for having a bit of a project. Some great potential to build a lovely little holiday letting business. I'd prefer to have something to build rather than necessarily buying an existing ongoing business. It would be good to have something which has already got something going in terms of some holiday cottages, but perhaps a bit more work to do.
This doesn't sound very relaxing to me. You're obviously not coming to chill in the country.
No, unfortunately, we still need to earn a living. So we're hoping that having 5 or 6 cottages that we let out on a self-catering basis will give us some free time during the week to enjoy this beautiful county.
What things would absolutely put you off a property?
Thatch, we're not particularly keen on thatch, or I'm not particularly keen on thatched roofs. Generally, modern houses is certainly not Claire's thing, or being overlooked or having a lot of near neighbours.
Remind us of how much you have to spend, Nick?
If it's something that's a project, then about £1 million. If it's a completely up and running business, up to as much as £1.25 million.
I'll always take the top one, so I'll grab them. It's a great, healthy-sized budget, but it's not going to be easy to find a ready-made house with 5 or 6 holiday lets like you mentioned. So I'm glad, Nick, you said you're prepared to put in a bit of work. Are you as well, Claire?
Oh, absolutely. No, we make a good team.
Great. Are you ready to see what I have up my sleeve?
Raring to go.
Absolutely.
Should we finish our tea first?
So Nick and Claire are not only looking for a dream home for themselves, but also a business setup, and they're armed with a very substantial budget of £1.25 million. For the primary accommodation, they'd like a character farmhouse with 3 or more bedrooms and a large country kitchen, but we must steer clear of thatched properties. They're also looking for some land, either with an existing holiday let business or the potential to start one up. They'd like a rural location with good access to the coast and the countryside. I've got 3 character properties lined up for our buyers, all offering extensive and varied accommodation, as well as inspiring ideas for their business setup. I won't be revealing the price of each until they've had a guess themselves. Our last visit will be to my mystery house, where I'll be pushing them on character and finding out how far they're willing to go to get it. We're kicking off our Devonshire house hunt just 10 miles from Exmoor National Park and 15 minutes from the coast, in a rural North Devon location 3 miles outside the village of Braunton. Perfectly positioned in close proximity to both stunning countryside and the sandy beaches at Croyd and Woolacombe, Braunton is a popular spot with surfers as well as holidaymakers. But it also offers good shopping with all the key amenities for locals. Just 5 minutes in the car from the village into the countryside is our first property, in a breathtaking rural position.
This is house number 1.
It's lovely.
Yeah, I like the exposed stone on it.
The original barn dates back to the 16th century. And the reason why I'm saying original barn is because this isn't a barn conversion. In fact, it's a new build. I know you didn't want it. But what the current owner has done, he's a builder, he knocked it all down and rebuilt the house with the original stone about 15 years ago. But the owner has done a great job of keeping some of the original features of the area. So can you see those holes at the top? Those are called bee holes, and they were used to attract pigeons that eventually were shot. And there were only a few of them on the house, and the owner put some more on. Enough character for you?
From the outside, yeah, definitely.
You want to get inside it?
Oh,
Ian?
itching too, can we?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm glad the idea of a new build doesn't put them off, because the character that's been preserved and added on the outside is continued on the inside. First, I'm taking them to the kitchen.
You both said the kitchen was very important, so I want your first impressions.
It's lovely. It's a little small.
I knew there was a but.
I mean, it's in terms of style, it's exactly what I wanted.
There is a utility back here
Okay.
and a loo, so there is more sort of space behind that door. Let's show you the rest of the house and then you can see it in context, yeah?
Yes, please.
Directly off the kitchen is a huge, light sitting and dining room with double-height doors and windows, making the most of the fantastic views of the gardens and countryside.
So this is your living room.
Wow. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, really nice wood fire, wood-burning stove.
And I love the exposed beams too.
That actually is from an old shipyard, and that feature over there was part of the original front door.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, it's a lovely room. Really nice.
Now, you asked for 3 bedrooms, and that's what this property has, 3 double bedrooms. One of them is just up the stairs over there.
Okay.
But let me show you the master up these
Ooh,
stairs.
yes, please.
The galleried landing leads to 2 of the property's 3 bedrooms on the first floor. A roomy double with an ensuite for guests, as well as the large master bedroom.
Yeah, another lovely room.
I love this A-frame.
Yep.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
It's a really pretty room. Really pretty.
Ensuite.
An ensuite, and in fact, all 3 bedrooms have an ensuite, so you've got 3 bathrooms as well.
That's perfect.
And a lovely view.
With a balcony, a Juliet balcony.
You can imagine sitting in bed in the morning with a cup of tea looking out over that. It'd be fantastic.
I don't know if you've noticed the silver sockets near the floor.
No.
Those are for the central vacuuming system that has been put into. It is a wow thing. Plug in, and all the dirt gets sucked into one central point.
That's bizarre. Amazing.
Now, neither of you have mentioned the other part of your search, but I know it's been going through your mind. There aren't the 5 or 6 holiday lets that you were ideally looking for, but there is a cottage that comes with this property.
Okay.
So do you both want to go and have a look at that? I'll take in the view here, and then I'll meet you in the garden.
Perfect.
Great.
do it.
See you in a bit.
As Nick and Claire are looking to start up a new business from the property, the fact that there's an existing holiday let should be a real benefit and a good starting point. The 1-bedroom barn conversion is arranged over 2 floors.
This is sweet.
It is, isn't it?
Wood-burning stove, which is great.
Nice.
This is sweet.
The property stands in 1.3 acres of garden with access to a further paddock of around 5 acres. There's an additional oak-framed outbuilding with garage and workshop space that could also be converted as part of the lettings business.
So, what did you think of the cottage?
Very sweet, yeah. Really love.
Small, but it's been well done.
I think that's the overriding feeling, isn't it? It's small for you.
It is a bit.
And there is planning permission to extend the main house. That's
Okay.
already in place, but you'd have to ask about additional planning permission, of course, for any holiday
Further
lets.
cottages, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we would need more cottages.
What do you think this house is on the market for?
I'm going to take a wild stab at
Okay.
£700,000.
OK.
Oh, that's close to what I was going to say. I was going to say 695.
It's on the market for £725,000.
Okay.
Now that you know the price, do you want to give the house one last look?
Yes, we'd like to.
Good.
Thank you.
And I'll
Thank
see you
you.
out the front soon.
OK.
Super.
For For nearly £500,000 under Nick and Claire's maximum budget, this property has the character they asked for, with 3 good-sized bedrooms and business potential to boot. It may only have 1 holiday cottage, but they could develop the site further subject to planning permission, and they'd have a substantial budget to do the work. It's also in an ideal location to attract holidaymakers with access to both the countryside and the coast.
So these are the other outbuildings, I guess.
Yep. You could probably squeeze 2 floors in here, just about.
I love the decor. It's got the right number of bedrooms and a lot of land, but it doesn't have enough outbuildings for what we are looking for.
Location, a real winner. What lets it down is perhaps just for lack of potential for building our holiday business. Although we could have 2 letting units, we really need 5 or ideally 6.
Still a no?
I'm afraid so.
Yes, I think it's not for us.
Hopefully better luck with house number 2.
Yes.
Devon is associated with many dairy-based delicacies, from ice cream to clotted cream and, of course, Devonshire fudge. Having met through a shared passion for food, we sent Claire and Nick to meet Andrew Gray at Partridge Farm, just north of Dartmoor, where he and his wife produce handmade fudge from their purpose-built fudge kitchen. Using local organic dairy produce, they supply a range of flavours to small businesses and sweet-toothed tourists throughout the county.
What is the definition of fudge?
Well, fudge is possibly something that was created out of a bit of an accident. Someone was making some caramel. It all got too hot and went a bit wrong, and someone said, "Oh, fudge," and then it was born.
And how long have you been here?
We've been here about 3 years now. We moved from South Derbyshire, looking for land, space, and for a new thing to do in our lives.
Despite the simplicity of the ingredients in fudge, it has a reputation for being difficult to make. The key is in achieving the right temperature and timing when cooking to create the perfect flavour and texture. Andrew is showing Nick and Claire one of his most popular recipes, featuring another delicious traditional Devonshire ingredient.
Welcome to our kitchen. We're going to be making some Devon clotted cream fudge. If I start with the sugar, we use an unrefined golden granulated organic fair trade sugar. That's about half of the ingredients, roughly, mostly sugar.
The sugar is placed in a mixer along with double cream, clotted cream, butter and condensed milk. The ingredients are mixed for an hour, gradually heating to above boiling point. 3/4 of the way through cooking, the lid can be removed and the mixture constantly stirred to prevent burning. The brown mass is then emptied into a copper pot to be beaten.
Why do you use a copper pot?
It's a traditional thing. Copper's a very good conductor of heat, so it was an even spread of heat.
As it cools, the mixture needs to be worked for around an hour to achieve a smooth, creamy consistency.
It's still bubbling, isn't it? It's still really hot.
It's still hot. At this stage, it'll still be hotter than boiling water temperature. Would you like to have a go at eating some fudge, Claire?
Oh, yes, I'd love to, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, this just gives you a good workout, doesn't it?
It's like hard work, yeah.
You see, it's actually a lot less runny already.
Making fudge is a laborious task. A batch like this produces 20 kilos and takes up to 4 hours to make. On average, Andrew makes about 140 kilos a week. When the mixture no longer sticks, it's ready to be decanted into trays.
So now we spread the fudge through the tray. It's a little bit of a race against time because if it goes too much, it doesn't move very easily across the tray, and if you push too hard, then it can just break.
It takes up to 30 minutes to set until it's firm enough to be able to slice cleanly with a knife and removed from the tray.
That's it.
Well, thank you, Andrew. It's been a fascinating day and we've really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Can we please tuck in?
For my next offering, I'm taking our buyers 20 minutes round the coast towards Exmoor and 4 miles from the seaside resort of Combe Martin to the hamlet of East Down. Sheltered in a rocky cove, the village of Combe Martin's sandy beaches make it popular for numerous activities from rock pooling to kayaking. For tourists, there's a selection of gift and surf shops, as well as places to eat. A short drive back to East Down, property number 2 is perfectly positioned for those looking for great coastal access, but with a more rural outlook. Lying in a gentle valley, it's approached through an unusual stone circular moon gate leading to a private courtyard.
Wow.
Awesome courtyard.
Yeah. It's a huge setup, isn't it?
And huge is the key word. So this is the main farmhouse, a period farmhouse. It's been thoroughly modernised inside, and there are lots of flexible living options and business options in there for you. So brace yourselves.
Sounds great.
With an extensive range of outbuildings on site, I'm hoping this property won't disappoint in terms of business potential. But first, we need to tackle the main house. Occupying a massive floor space of over 500 square metres, the ground floor centres on a large kitchen and dining room, surrounded by 2 of the property's 9 bedrooms and a number of reception rooms.
This is the main living room of the property.
Wow. Impressive.
A fireplace.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
And there's actually a second reception room that's also got a fireplace, so you've got 2 reception rooms to choose from.
Wow. Fantastic.
Now, the centre of the house is also a bit wow. Let me take you straight there.
Oh, brilliant.
Directly off the living rooms is the huge kitchen space, complete with original beams, traditional slate floor and vaulted gallery area above.
Oh, wow. This is a really impressive room.
So is this big enough?
Definitely.
Because this is the biggest kitchen I've ever seen.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great room. Yeah.
There's a utility just through there and
Fabulous.
a larder.
Fantastic.
I'm glad you like it because it's confession time now. No one actually lives here. It's only used as a place of business for conferences and away days for businesses,
Oh, that's unusual.
which means there isn't really a master bedroom, but I'll take you to one of the rooms and then reveal the rest.
OK.
Also downstairs are 2 office rooms beyond the kitchen area, which would work as a base for the business, as well as 2 substantial double bedrooms, both ensuite. Upstairs, the remaining 7 bedrooms, all roughly equal in size, are accessed from one long corridor running the length of the house.
So this is one of 9 bedrooms.
9.
7 of them have en suites. Now, you could pick any one of them to be your master bedroom, or you could let the whole place out and live in the 2-bedroom cottage across the courtyard. The other house, I know you didn't like the fact there was only 1 cottage. Here, there are 4 or 5 other outbuildings as well.
So far, I love it.
Let's go back out to the courtyard. I'll point you in the directions of the cottage and the outbuildings, and then I'll meet you back outside.
Excellent.
Yeah? Let's go.
I must say, I thought Nick and Claire would be put off by the majority of the accommodation being in the main house, but they seem to have really taken a shine to this house, and with the various outbuildings, they seem excited about what this property could offer them. Outside, the array of outbuildings include a converted barn used as a conference centre, a large studio space with mezzanine, a number of traditional stone buildings that could be converted, as well as a furnished 2-bedroom holiday cottage.
Nice.
Yeah. Another wood burner.
Yeah. I mean, everything you need, little kitchen.
Little kitchen. It is quite small.
But perfectly formed, I think.
And a downstairs bedroom.
It's perfectly big enough, isn't it?
Yeah, no ensuite.
Oh, I like this little cottage.
Aside from the business opportunities this property presents, there's also some stunning green space for Nick and Claire to enjoy, including a vegetable garden, a woodland area and a mill pond with working watermill.
I mean, you could make that into a great feature, couldn't you?
There's so much to this place, isn't there?
It just never ends.
Did you see the water wheel?
We did.
Great.
And this is the mill pond that feeds that wheel.
OK.
So the current owners have restored it, and they say it could actually provide enough energy to heat the house over the winter.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, you found a great one here.
Do you love it that much?
Oh, really good.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that.
It's fantastic.
Is this what you were looking for?
Well, I think it has the potential to be what we were looking for, yeah.
Right. Can you afford it, is the big question.
I'm so glad it's Claire's turn to go first.
It is Claire's turn to go first.
I think it's going to be right at the top of our budget.
Do you think?
I'm going to say 1.25 million.
Nick?
Well, clearly there's a bit of money to be spent on it, so I'm hoping that it's not quite at the top. So I'm going to guess 1.15 million.
It's currently on the market for £1.2 million. It was on the market for 1.4, so it's been reduced, and that is their bottom line, I'm afraid, 1.2.
Well,
Exciting.
we better do some sums.
I think we better had.
There's so many bits to see. Do you want to go and explore the bits you might not have seen?
Yes, please.
And I'll meet you out by the arch.
That'd be
Excellent.
brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
This property offers Nick and Claire countless options for creating a gorgeous home as well as a business on site, but it would require them to invest their maximum budget. The 9-bedroom house has a huge amount of flexible living space, including a kitchen and dining area that's exceptional. Although there's a fair amount of work to do, the existing holiday cottage means they could get the business started and convert the remaining outbuildings over time.
Wow.
So much potential.
You could have it as a games room, or you could convert it, couldn't you, into one very big cottage. Obviously, there's a bit of work to do, but actually, I quite like the idea of that.
It's everything I could have asked for. That kitchen was amazing. And the gallery is just awesome. I was completely bowled over by it.
If we can find a way to make it work from a budget perspective, then definitely I can see us living here.
Do we really have to leave now?
Only for a bit, since you love the house so much. The drinks are in Nick.
Perfect.
Claire and Nick are ditching their corporate lives to start afresh in the Devon countryside. With a very generous budget of £1.25 million, they're after a character cottage with enough land to start their own enterprise. Coming up, will the character of the mystery house be a step too far?
Oh, wow, yeah, these are really steep, aren't they?
And I get a lesson in scaling the local landscape.
This is not easy. Not that I thought it would be easy, but... Yesterday, we showed Nick and Claire 2 extreme properties, but to be honest, I wasn't expecting such extreme reactions. House 1 wasn't for them, and they liked House 2 immediately. And so with the mystery house, what we really want to do is test those business ambitions. So it's the morning after, the day before. How are you both feeling?
We loved the second property of yesterday, so it was good to finish the day on a high.
And do you still love it after sleeping on it?
Yes.
Still a strong contender as of this morning, yeah, definitely.
And our first test will be on location, as our mystery property is south of Nick and Claire's ideal search area of North Devon. We're heading to the small farm hamlet of Corscombe on the northern tip of Dartmoor, just over 2 miles east of the larger town of Oakhampton. In the heart of rural Devon, Oakhampton is a lively market town with a range of shops, cafes and pubs. Visitors come to see the remains of the largest castle in Devon, Oakhampton Castle. Now an English heritage site, it sits on a wooded spur above the River Oakmont. A short drive into the hills back to historic Corscombe, our mystery house occupies an impressive plot of nearly 5 acres overlooking a valley. Although Nick and Claire said they wanted character, they were adamant they didn't want thatch, which may rule out our mystery house from the very start. But if they stay with me, I'm hopeful its business credentials will impress our buyers.
Welcome to the mystery house.
It's thatched.
Yes.
I know it's thatched, and I know you said you didn't want thatched, but I want you to consider this property because there is so much of what you will like and have asked for in this property, and things that you haven't even got on your list but I think you'll like. but I want
Excellent.
you to consider a part thatched property.
OK.
We have come a little bit more south than your
Yeah,
search
we
area. We're on the edge of
realise.
Dartmoor here. The building is a Grade 2 listed farmhouse. Most of it, they think, dates back to around the 16th century, but there are
Wow.
also some medieval parts to it too.
How interesting.
So you ready for the grand tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, excited.
Part of the impressive holiday let portfolio is this detached converted barn, which we'll deal with later. But the whitewashed farmhouse is divided into two sections, the 16th century thatched part being of cobstone, whilst the newer bit is Victorian. Across a total area of over 3,000 square feet, the older half lies at the back of the house and the newer half at the front. Both are fairly equal in size with their own separate kitchen, cloakroom and reception rooms, and are linked by a central passage area. The accommodation could of course be reconfigured to Claire and Nick's liking. I'm taking them through the medieval-style passageway to the older part of the property.
This is what I think would be your main living area.
Cosy. Yeah.
Lovely window seats.
They date back to the 17th century, and the story is that the farm workers sort of used to sit on them, cap in hand, at the end of the week and wait for their wages. There's lots of lovely little features like that in here, and of course the fireplace that you so love.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful fireplace, isn't
Lovely.
it?
And just through there is a second reception room. I think would make a lovely snug. At the moment it's being used as a study, so you could
Right.
have it as either. I want to go into the kitchen.
OK.
Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Lead the way through there. So I know much smaller
Yeah.
than you'd ideally like.
Small and slightly low beams.
Yeah, but a range and a utility room and a laundry shed back there as
Oh,
well.
right.
Laundry shed.
Yes, exactly. Is this too small for you?
Yes, it is.
Now, I've been showing you just one half of the house. Maybe I need to let you decide what half of the house you'd prefer to live in. But before that, let's show you the old part of the upstairs of this house.
If the character features in this part of the house are too much for our buyers, they might prefer the light and airy rooms in the Victorian edition. It has a second kitchen and two good-sized reception rooms, complete with high ceilings and character fireplaces. Upstairs, the property has 7 bedrooms in total, 4 in the Victorian part of the house, consisting of 3 spacious doubles, 1 with ensuite, as well as a single room. And the remaining 3 are in the older part of the house, 2 of which are adjoining.
Oh, wow, yeah, these are really steep, aren't they?
So there are 3 bedrooms to this part of the house. I think you'd use this as your master because of the dressing room attached.
Right.
It's certainly filled with character. Might be a little bit too quirky for us, or maybe for me. I don't know.
It's absolutely charming, but my practical side will kick in a minute.
And when Claire's practical side kicks in, then we know we've got trouble.
Well, what I've done here is saved the practical side of the house for your guests, but indeed you may want to live in it yourself. And the house can be divided, each would have its separate entrance. So you would have a 3-bedroom semi, which would be yours, and the 4-bedroom that you could let out.
And I think this might be quite appealing to guests, actually.
To tourists.
Very
Yeah.
appealing, yes.
So go and have a look at the Victorian side of the house, go and have a look at the holiday cottages, and then I'll meet you outside.
Brilliant.
Great.
Thank you.
I'll show you the way.
It looks like I might be making progress with this property, and they're yet to see the real selling points. Also on site are 2 detached cottages already being used as holiday lets. The larger has 3 bedrooms and the second is an open-plan 1-bedroom converted barn.
Come in. Oh, wow, this is lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely kitchen.
Perhaps we could have this one.
Yeah, it might suit us better, mightn't it?
Oh, wow.
It's beyond luxurious for 1-bedroom holiday place,
is.
isn't it?
Yes, this is pretty much the best cottage for renting I think we've seen.
The outside of this property also benefits from its own pool, sauna, vegetable patch and wind turbine, as well as a number of entertaining and woodland areas.
Who'd like to guess the price first? You've already had a go each.
I'm going to guess at £1,050,000.
I was going to say 1.1 million.
OK. You're both a little bit over, actually. It's on for £985,000.
Okay.
So from your budget, you would have £265,000 left over. Well, do you want to go look at the rest of the land? And then I'll meet you back out by the house.
Great.
Lovely, thank
Yeah.
you.
See you soon.
For £265,000 under their maximum budget, this huge, versatile property would give Claire and Nick a choice of styles and spaces for their own living quarters within the 7-bedroom farmhouse, leaving them with a number of options for the business. They'd have a pot of money left over to do any work required, but with 2 up-and-running holiday lets, they'd also be in a position to get started straight away. The plot of just under 5 acres also means they'd have plenty of outside space for themselves as well as their guests.
Oh,
Fantastic.
That's an added bonus, isn't it?
And it's a nice little sun trap as well.
I did think it looked very attractive, and when we found out that some parts of it were medieval, that really appealed to me. Unfortunately, the upstairs, it was not quite right for us.
The letting cottages are lovely. They're real plus points for this property, and the land is fantastic. But neither half of the house quite works for the way that we would like to live.
Right, now you've seen everything, I have lots and lots of questions for you both.
OK.
Let's get a cup of tea and sit and discuss.
That would be good.
Tourism is one of Devon's largest economies. With the county attracting nearly 6 million visitors a year, it's worth in excess of £2 billion and accounts for some 12% of employment. With attractions ranging from historical sites to sandy beaches and national parks, visitors can enjoy a vast array of activities, from walking and hiking to sailing and surfing, as well as some rather more adventurous pursuits. One of those is rock climbing. I'm in the Valley of Rocks on the north coast of Exmoor, and I'm meeting outdoor activity instructor Dan French.
Hey, Dan.
OK.
What an office. This is stunning.
It's not bad at all, is it? Yeah, I'm quite lucky to have a job, which means I can come and work out here most days.
Now tell me about the Valley of Rocks.
Some of the rocks here date back nearly 400 million years.
Wow.
It was formed all those years ago with silt and sand and mud layering up, and over the millions of years it's compacted, and this is the rock that we've got here today.
Now I understand we're going to get up close and personal with one of these rocks.
Yeah, we're going to head up to Castle Rock, we're going to go climbing, then we're going to do an abseil off the top.
That sounds brilliant. Let's go.
go.
The Valley of Rocks is a dry valley that runs parallel to the coast rather than towards the sea. The breathtaking views from the top are what makes it such a popular climbing spot, or so I'm told.
So is this the base of our climb?
This is where we are, yeah. This is Castle Rock, and then our abseil is going to come straight down off the top through there. Let's get kitted up.
It's quite high.
Rock climbing is an enormously exciting sport, but can be extremely dangerous. First things first, it's important to ensure you have the correct safety equipment and that it's fitted properly.
Right, so step into your harness. Got 2 loops there for your leg. Want to pull it up nice and high so it sits above your hips.
Right.
Now if you tighten your leg loops, ready to go.
It's like a weird nappy.
Beginners like me should always be supervised and instructed by an expert. Although I'm climbing by myself, Dan will be at the top of the rock belaying me by controlling the friction in the ropes to guide and support me.
Right then, how are you feeling there? Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm raring to go, but where do I start?
Right, the key thing is,
Yeah.
look where you're going, OK? So don't get your body too close to the rock. Use your hands, use those feet. Biggest muscles are in those legs. Looking down, not holding onto the rope.
Not holding there, that's the first
Hands
mistake.
on the rock.
It's not easy to
That's it.
grip the
And once
rock.
you find a nice little ledge for those feet, straighten those legs, and that's how you can push yourself up and get the height.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Oh.
You ready? 3, 2, 1. Looking down, placing that foot.
This is not easy. Not that I thought it would be easy, but... There we go. Ooh, ooh.
Go on, you can do it.
I think I actually almost nearly fell there.
Right, this is it, ready to
That's it.
top out. Oh. Fantastic, high five.
But before I get too enamoured with the view, it's time to work out how to get back down. According to Dan, the trick is not to look down and just go for it.
I want you to sit yourself back into the harness. When you're ready.
Oh, that's quite good. Yeah, it is better a bit faster, actually. Feel like a ninja.
See, you're doing really well there. There you go. Fantastic. Well done, brilliant.
I have abseiled the Valley of Rocks.
Yes, you have.
Well worth a trip to North Devon.
Well, Nick and Claire have surprised me once again. They didn't fall for our mystery house, even though it had more of what they'd asked for than the other properties, especially when it comes to the business they have in mind. So now it's time to do a little digging and find out how they think they're going to make House 2 work for them. Right, it's been a busy couple of days with 3 very different properties. I thought with the mystery house, we were giving you more of what you wanted, especially with the business side of things. You had 8 rooms to let there over 3 properties, but actually, you're not so keen on that offering.
No, well, I mean, as we said, kind of 5 to 6 letting cottages is our target, and there was a bit of a lack of opportunity perhaps to get that far in the mystery house.
So are you still considering house number 2?
Yes, house number 2 is still something that we will think further about, probably go back and view it again.
Definitely. We need to think about whether or not house number 2 fits the model, and we'll go away and do those sums.
And what's been unusual about this search is you're not just searching for a home, you're also searching for a fairly substantial business as well. Is either one a priority? Which one will you compromise on?
We'll have to compromise on the house in order to get the business.
Well, good luck with house number 2.
Thank you.
And if that doesn't work out, I hope you find what you're looking for soon.
Thank you very much.
It's great that they ended up liking a property that they would have never have gone to see themselves, and they want to make sure that they prioritise their business needs over their domestic ones. Because Nick and Claire aren't escaping to the country for a quieter life. Instead, they want to move here and build a business to set them up for life. We wish them well. See you next time on Escape to the Country.
After looking into their finances, Claire and Nick decided against a second visit to property 2, as they felt the work needed would push them over budget. But with their house now sold, they're currently living in South Devon with Nick's father. It means they can at least start enjoying the Devon lifestyle whilst continuing their search. If you'd like to escape to the country in Wales, England, Northern Ireland or Scotland and would like our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.